Welcome to the deep dive. You know, we all feel it sometimes that that desire to really get a handle on money, right? To sort of cut through all the noise, the advice, and feel, well, more in control. You actually mentioned feeling like it's a confusing puzzle, and yeah, that really struck a chord. So for our deep dive today, we're tackling a real classic, something many people turn to, a review of Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It came out, what, back in 1997?
That's right, 97.
And our mission really is to unpack the core ideas from this review. The book, famously, it compares the money philosophies of two dads in Kiyosaki's life.
Yeah, his own dad, the poor dad, and his friend's dad, the rich dad.
Mm.
And what the review really highlights, which is fascinating, isn't just the story itself. It's how the book aims to shift your whole perspective on building wealth. It's less about, specific tactics and more about a mindset change, financial education. So this deep dive, we want to pull out those key insights that might just reframe how you think about your own financial path, especially if you're just starting out.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Because what jumps out right away from the review is how well the book simplifies things. Ideas that usually feel, well, really complex. It's known for being super accessible, right? Even if you have no finance background at all. So we'll walk through the main teachings, look at the strengths the review points out, and also, importantly, touch on some criticisms.
Right, so if we dive into those core teachings the review focuses on,
Yeah.
Kiyosaki does something, well, brilliant with definitions. The big one, I think, is assets versus liabilities. The review really emphasizes how he boils it down. An asset puts money in your pocket. Simple.
Okay.
A liability takes money out.
That sounds almost too simple, but it's a massive reframe, isn't it?
It is.
Because traditionally you think, my house is my biggest asset. But Kiyosaki, as the review notes, questions that. If it's costing you money every month, mortgage, taxes, repairs, maybe it's acting more like a liability in that moment.
Exactly. The review stresses this isn't just playing with words. It makes you look at everything you own differently. Does it generate income or does it cost you income? And that flows right into his first big lesson the review highlights. The rich focus on acquiring assets. The poor and middle class, they tend to acquire liabilities, often thinking they're assets. It's a huge shift in thinking.
Yeah, a really powerful one. And connected to that is the idea of working to learn, not just to earn. That's another concept the review really underlines. It suggests your main goal, especially early on, shouldn't just be the paycheck size. It should be about gaining skills, knowledge, connections, things that help you build your own assets later.
Yes, exactly. The review points out how Kiyosaki pushes back against that standard script. Go to school, get a safe job.
Yeah.
He argues schools, well, they don't teach practical stuff like managing cash flow or how to make money work for you. He's big on seeking financial education outside the usual channels. That's where he brings in cash flow, understanding how money moves through your life, not just your salary.
And one thing the review really captures is the book's motivational power. It seems to genuinely light a fire under people, makes them think differently about finance, not just saving, but actively creating wealth. That alone is huge for many readers.
Absolutely. The review consistently praises that aspect. It's a catalyst. It's written concisely, it's compelling, it avoids jargon that makes these big ideas feel graspable. It opens a door for people who might feel intimidated by finance otherwise. It offers a fresh angle, challenges those common ideas about job security being the ultimate goal.
But like any influential book, it's not perfect. The review does bring up some common criticisms. While it's great at shifting your mindset, the review points out it's often seen as lacking, maybe concrete step-by-step advice. It tells you what to think, maybe, but not always the detailed how.
And that's a really important point about actually doing something with the ideas. The review acknowledges that while Kiyosaki encourages that shift from, I can't afford it, to, okay, how can I afford it? Well, it also raises questions about verifying his advice. His personal stories are powerful, sure, but they aren't always easy to replicate or check, you know? So some critics question how directly applicable his specific strategies are without more detail.
That's a key distinction, isn't it? It's like a great starting pistol, maybe gets you out of the blocks, but it's not the full race plan. The review definitely emphasizes needing critical thinking, needing to keep learning beyond just this one book, especially with financial advice.
Definitely.
So wrapping up this deep dive into the review of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it seems clear, as the review suggests, this isn't really a detailed how-to guide for getting rich quick. Its real strength, its core value, is as that perspective-shifting catalyst we talked about. A powerful motivator to start your financial journey differently. And that's reflected in the review's solid 4 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, and it's interesting how the review circles back to that bigger idea. education beyond the classroom. The book really hammers home that financial savvy often comes from self-teaching, from being willing to question how things are normally done with money. Which kind of leads to a final thought, something for you, the listener, to maybe mull over. Given the book's focus on working to learn and the point that schools often miss teaching practical money skills, what other really crucial skills or viewpoints might we all need to actively go out and find for ourselves beyond the traditional paths to really thrive today? Not just financial skills, think broader. Where else might there be gaps we need to fill on our own?
That's a really interesting question to leave things on. Definitely something to chew on as you navigate your own path. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you'll take these ideas and reflect on how they might fit into your own understanding of wealth and growth.